You set my soul on fire. Baby, you set my soul on you set my soul on fire. Baby, you set my soul on you set my soul on fire. You set my soul on fire.
Hello and welcome to the Unleashed podcast. Unleash your potential, make your impact. I'm your host, Amy Lee Miller, and joining me today is my co-host, Mike G. This is our very first episode. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
What's going on? What's
Hey,
going
we're
on?
gonna have some fun on the show. We're going to be hearing from inspirational people who are pursuing their passion, fulfilling their purpose, and we'll have the opportunity to hear a little bit about their story. I am so excited today to welcome our very first guest to the show. Joining us here from Houston, Texas, is Chip Baker. Welcome, Chip. How you doing?
Let's go, Amy Lee Miller, the first one. Let's go.
Yes. I'm very excited to have you here because not only are you just such a high vibrational person, but you are out there doing what you love with the goal of inspiring others. So that is awesome. Chip is a fourth generation educator and football coach. You've been teaching and coaching for over 20 years, athletics coaching. You are also now life coaching and transformational speaking. You are an author of multiple best-selling books, and of course, the creator and host of Chip Baker, the Success Chronicles. Congratulations!
Man, who is that guy you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I
Man,
think that
that's
intro,
awesome.
it is awesome.
That's
I love
awesome.
it. I think the intro was too long, though. I think you have too many accolades, and we got to cut you off, I think.
Don't cut me off.
No, you keep going. Keep going. Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to share a little bit about you and what's happening with you and your journey with us. One thing that always lights me up is hearing what inspires people, and being a fourth generation educator. Your family sounds like influenced you to go into teaching.
Mhm.
But what kept you going for over 20 years in teaching and coaching?
I think, for me, first off, just like you said, I'm a fourth generation educator. And all I know is a life of giving service and helping others, because that's what I've seen from my family. I think the first piece of that is, striving to do things to make my family proud, right? Just continue the lineage and of greatness and serving and giving to others and helping others out. And so I think that's the first piece. But then the second piece of it is knowing that I can take the things that I've gone through in my life and experienced and have learned, and then take the lessons from that and then give that to others. Oh man, it's exciting, and that has continued to be the fuel that drives me each day.
I love that. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's
One of
nice.
the things that you mentioned in your book, the impact of influence is sacrifice. And we all
Mhm.
know, the familiar term and concept with great risk comes great reward. And
Yeah.
I find that, so you've also, in reading your book, you've had a lot of great influential people that have positively impacted you. But let's dig into, if you're comfortable sharing with us, the sacrifice a little bit. Was there, because I feel like a lot of times our deeper or bigger challenges and struggles, once we go through them, can
Mhm.
ultimately propel us to a newer level or maybe a new direction, achieving something maybe we might otherwise not have. Was there something in particular, a deeper challenge, or that actually impacted you in a positive way?
I you hit on sacrifice. I think the first thing with that comes up for me, and I'm a simple guy, formula guy, and so I think advancement equals sacrifice, right? And what I mean by that is, in order for us to do great things, in order to us to achieve great things, you're gonna have to sacrifice something.
Hmm.
And so, again, I've learned those things from seeing the great people, like you said, the influential people that were in my life, and I was able to observe those things and see. And so, in my life, I mean, it's my life. I've lived a life of sacrificing. I strived at an early age um, to not get involved in bad things or put bad things in my body, or put myself around good people, or make good choices, right? And you start out, it's just like success. There's incremental sacrifices, it leads to that success. So you have those little sacrifices and you see, oh, well, by sacrificing this, oh, I get positive benefit from that,
Hmm.
right? Well, let me do more of that, right? And do more. And so it gets contagious and and infectious, if you will, because you see, and those sacrifices bring you big, I don't know, bring you greatness, right? I mean, you think about those people that have achieved amazing things, like they couldn't be out partying all the time with people. They got to put the
Hmm.
shots up in the gym.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
talk about like a track analogy. People for the Olympics, they train for 4 years for a race. If you're running a quarter, it's less than a minute.
Wow.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you sacrifice for 4 years to compete at the maximum for less than a minute,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like that with
Yeah.
everything we do. You have to make those sacrifices in knowing that,
I agree.
yeah,
I
I mean,
agree.
in knowing that, oh, well, I can get a gold medal from this. Well, let's go. I'm an
Well,
Olympian.
yeah. To answer that question, sacrifice. People don't. I think there's a little bit of percentage of people on this earth that want to sacrifice. They want it,
Yeah.
but they don't want to do the sacrificing stuff that needs to be done. Going to bed late, putting in the
Mhm.
extra hour, doing
Hmm.
that 9 to 5, then coming and doing that extra. It's
Yeah.
like they want it. They want the goal, but they don't want to work for the goal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
I think
I
that
see that.
a part of maybe not wanting to work for it is coming from a place of fear, because what if it doesn't work out? I think that when successful people um, are able to get uncomfortable, or to get comfortable with a level of uncertainty. And uncertainty can be such a great thing. I think that the best things happen when we have no idea what's going to happen next, because if we could map out exactly our future, exactly the path, and be completely comfortable with it, we would limit ourselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man, you Amy, you hit on two things that really struck a chord with me. I think we have to understand first that there is no limit, right? And when we understand that there is no limit, well, we realize that there is no limit.
Right.
And so it allows us to just, okay, well, what can I do next, right? and
Hmm.
and you put yourself in a space of being comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Yep.
and so
Absolutely.
you
Yeah, that's
challenge
true.
yourself.
That's true.
You challenge yourself on a daily basis, like,
Yeah.
for example, like, it's unacceptable for me to be the same Chip today as I was yesterday.
Hmm.
It's unacceptable, right? And so you find ways to continue to push yourself. Okay, what you gonna do now, Chip?
Yeah.
you know
That was
what are you
yesterday.
gonna
What did you
Yeah,
do?
yeah, what how you gonna grow today,
Yeah.
right? You did this pretty good yesterday. Ooh, not very good on that yesterday. Well, how you gonna be better today than you were yesterday? And so it's a continual thing. And then when you get in that space, it's a great space to be, because you always have continued growth. You're not stagnant. It's exciting. Like, you look forward to those challenges, you know and
Yeah.
great things happen for you.
Yeah.
Of
I like to
course, of
say,
course. Maybe not to cut you, but it also the game plan doesn't always work out either.
Yes. Right.
So you got to adapt to the change. You got to adapt to the situation. You got to adapt to the goals that you set forth. You put yourself forth, and it's just you gotta walk the maze.
Yeah. Yeah. For
and
sure.
yeah, the great thing about adapting once you get started, and sometimes there can be a real positive there in the game plan not working out, because it's just about getting started, getting that idea that excites you, that drives you, that thing that lights your fire that you want to go after. And then you don't know exactly how you're going to get there, but you listen to that and you take the first step.
Mhm.
And then that first step, after you take the first step, then the second shows up. And so just getting started on your path could lead you
Yeah.
to something that you didn't even realize that you wanted. That's happened for me. Has that happened for you guys?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Me being here is a
Definitely.
prime example of that. I mean, you know, like when I started my YouTube channel and podcast 8 years ago, um, I just, the Success Chronicles, I was just striving to highlight those great people that I've been blessed to be around and learn from in my life.
Mhm.
Little did I know is that I would connect with people, become an author, connect with awesome people and interview them, build great relationships, and have people have me on their shows.
Right.
Like people really want to hear something I have to say, like, and so
Yeah, we wanna hear you.
I never would have imagined any of that,
Mhm.
and that wasn't my intention. My intention was to just highlight others.
So your intention was to highlight others, and then you found a path, an opportunity to highlight yourself, and you're helping others in a whole other way that you didn't even think about starting out. Would you say you agree with that?
Yeah. I, I don't know. I still have a problem with highlighting myself, but
Okay.
So
I'm
humble. So
yeah,
humble.
I'm pretty good at highlighting others. But that
Okay.
whole talk about me thing, I don't know, Amy. I'm a work in progress on that.
Well,
Well, I
we
can
all
agree
are.
to
We
that.
all are.
I can agree
Yeah.
to that. I'm a work in progress too. I used to do marketing many years ago, and who knows? I'm back at marketing again. Graphic design, video editing, working with Vince, and
Yeah.
and doing this. This is where I'm at. Hey,
Yeah.
you never know. It's like life is like a boomerang. It's going.
Yeah.
It comes
Yeah.
right back. You
Yeah.
never know.
And I think too, I'm glad you said that, Mike G. That was good because along that journey, we learn transferable skills that allow us to be great at those things too, along that
We only
journey.
get better. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only get better. We only get better. Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I agree. I think on our path, on our way to ultimately get, well, I say ultimately, or to get where I say ultimately going. But the thing with that is it's always changing. We get on our path,
Mhm.
we start to reach one goal, and then more new ideas and goals, come onto our path. I'm curious, Chip. So I've seen you're doing a lot of book signings, and you're out there doing motivational talks at
Yeah.
schools, colleges. You're talking with coaches, students, athletes. What are some of the core concepts that you like to speak on, and what's been the most rewarding part for you so far of being able to make those connections?
I think the things that I like to speak on is, I love success. I'm infatuated with learning about success because I've just strived to be successful in my life, and so I've always been an avid learner of watching successful people, reading about their stories, sharing their stories, all those kind of things. And so um, that's probably the main thing that I share when I speak on traits of successful people, the impact of influence, pouring into people and letting them understand that they too are influential and they can impact others even when they don't think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Just pouring into and encouraging people. I think the thing that has been most rewarding for me is the fact that I have the opportunity to encourage others, have the opportunity to pour into others, and just teach life lessons. I'm a teacher, like you said. I'm a fourth generation educator, so I'm a teacher at heart, and everything I do is about teaching others so that they may be better for the next generation.
That's beautiful. Love it.
Definitely, definitely.
I wanted to touch on some of the things that you talk about in your book because they really resonate with me. One
Uh
of the
huh.
things that you mentioned is starting with having a solid foundation, and to me that's key to success. Whether it is
Yeah.
starting a company, achieving a goal, I feel like any successful mission has to start with a solid foundation, which to me is knowing what you want, but then being able to back it up with why you want it, because your why is what's going to drive you ultimately to keep going. Because anytime we're working toward a bigger goal, we're going to run into challenges, because otherwise it
Mhm.
wouldn't be a goal. So I would love to hear a little bit more about your thoughts on foundation, what that means to you.
Uh, I'm gonna go back to my family again. I was raised. I come from a family of church folk and educators, and I didn't put the S on that, right? So
Yeah.
that means that we were in church lots, and of course, I talked about earlier as far as my family. Hardworking people on both sides of my family. And then educators on my mom's side, but those things that I was able to see from my family members on both sides, like, yes, they told me lots of things and taught me lots of things, but I was able to see some of those things, of how those things played out, and people always telling me stories of how they impacted them, stories for days people have. And so that ingrained in me a firm foundation to allow me to be who I am today, right? It showed me that it's important to know that it ain't about you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's important to know that in what you do, you can bank on the fact that if you just look out for others and take care of people, other people will look out for you and take care of you. You can bank on that,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can have faith that the big man, faith wise, is going to pull you through if you're doing things the right way and striving to make a positive difference, with pure hearted intentions,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? And so those things are a part of my firm foundation. So there's nothing in my life that I will ever or have ever encountered that will be too tough for me. Because I've already seen what it takes to get through tough stuff and the formula,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's my firm foundation. So regardless of any storm that may come my way, I'm deeply rooted with my firm foundation, and I will not wither in any storm because I have a deep, firm foundation that I wholeheartedly believe in, right? And I think that when you can live in a manner of that way, um, you're gonna be all right. And you can relate that to a building. They don't start skyscrapers up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
They make they You have to have a firm foundation first, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so when you have that firm foundation, you can build upon that as high as you want to go.
I
I
mean,
love
I
that.
see it as if once you climb the mountain, you can climb others.
Yeah.
Once
Yes.
you go over the hump of things, you can climb others. I've been through this, that.
Yep.
Okay, I got another stone in front of me. I got to walk over, climb over, and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, that's. But some people don't think like that. But we try to push it to be so. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
like
agree with
I
you.
did. You
Yeah.
know, it's you got to be positive, but you're also going to get negative. You're going to get the negative, the
Yeah.
yin and the yang, of course, and stuff like that. So you got to be strong for the when you see the light, you got to be you're happy. But also when you see the darkness, you got to be like, okay, I'm going to walk through it and get through myself to that destination.
Absolutely.
Well,
Go through it. Yeah.
yeah, and for me, I think it's not winning and losing, it's winning and learning. Just like
Mm-hmm.
you said, Mike G, in every situation, of course we want to win, right? Period. Right. But then there comes some times where you won't win. But in those situations, like, what's your perspective? Are
Yeah.
you learning the lessons through that? Okay, so now, because you're gonna see it again, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna face
Mhm.
that again, right?
Over
So
and
when you
over and
face it
over.
again, did you learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn so that now you can win?
And then it will
And
stop showing up once you learn the lesson. I like to
once you
say,
defeat it,
yes, dig deep to rise high. So don't shy away from
mm,
those
come
bigger
on,
challenges.
come on,
Dig
Amy.
in, look right at the problem. Focus right on what is that big frustration. It's
Yeah,
one of the hardest things that you'll ever do. But then what happens is you level up and you don't come back down
yeah,
from that
yeah,
mindset level. And then you
yeah,
can
Yes,
you can
yes.
handle anything, like you were saying, Chip.
Well, when people get frustrated, oh man, I got here. I wanted to get here, but now it's harder. Well, if you got here, I'm pretty sure you can get here.
Hmm.
And the
hmm
frustration, I think, just cripples people sometimes. It's like it's they get frustrated, they get angry, and they don't stay focused and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Mr. Chip Baker, you got your books, you're doing it. We're doing it.
Living and learning, man. Living and learning.
That's it.
Well, we were talking about the foundation and being able to, once you establish your firm foundation, once you go through something, you can go through the next thing. Something that's so important in achieving your goals, in fulfilling your purpose, doing that, staying on course when things get really hard, is self-care, which you talk about in your book, investing in yourself. And a lot of people, a challenge that I hear often anyway, is people struggling with investing in themselves because they feel like maybe it's like they have a hard time choosing to prioritize what's meaningful to them. I'm going to sit and take an hour or two to invest in myself and work on my goals. And that's so important because when we don't prioritize time to work toward our goals, we're never going to achieve that goal. But once we do achieve the goal, that's how we're going to help people in a more meaningful way. And self-care also, how we feel about ourselves is what we project on to others and share with others. So there's so many reasons why self-care is important. I'd love to hear more of your thoughts on self-care and what you do day to day to keep your mindset elevated.
Well, self-care is not selfish.
Yes.
I'll say that again for you. Self-care is not selfish. And what I mean by that is if you put the energy into growing yourself to be the best version of yourself, what that does is it allows you to be the best version of yourself so that you can give the best version of yourself to the people that you love and care about. And I think when you shift that perspective to be driven in that manner, well, then it's no problem to have self-care because you know that, hey, I can't pour out of an empty cup. Like I can't, if I have an empty cup, I can't pour into you.
Yeah.
If my cup is empty, right? And so I need to make sure I fill my cup up so my cup runneth over, so that I can pour into others. And so, and so when you do that, again, like I said earlier, I think it allows you to see the fruits of your labor. It allows you to really hone in and say, well, because I've done self-care and taken care of myself and done what I'm supposed to do and learn these things, that I can give it to others. And then when you can sit back and see others thrive and do great things, they say, hey man, thank you for sharing that gem with me. Because you went through that challenge and you shared that with me, then I was able to do this. And so that is where it hits you in the heart and it's truly rewarding.
Yes.
Because what it's taken for you to grow through that struggle to even have that lesson to be able to share that with someone else.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what it is for me and how I do that. I think I try to have a heightened awareness of the things that I come across day to day. I try to do the things that I enjoy doing, working out, learning. I love learning, always to learn. I'm in a phase of my life where I'm all about, building quality relationships and providing opportunities. I'm really like deep into that.
But you're still human, Chip. We're still human. How do you refocus? Because you're too cool. You're cool. You're smooth. And I know we're humans. I mean, to be honest,
Now I'm human, and really, it's simple for me, Mike. Go to sleep, man. It's really that simple. I mean, like, man.
You mean if you're having a hard day or a hard time? Is that what you mean? Say go to sleep?
Yeah. I mean, anything, if you need to recover, you have something bad going. I look like from an athlete perspective, the way you recover is get rest, get good food, fill your body with fluids. Well, same thing in life. But, I love, family time, spending time with people that I care about, love music, live music. I do that. I like, listening to live music, jazz. So those are some of the things that I do for self-care.
That's so good. And I think you were talking about awareness. Part of that is self-awareness, knowing the more you know yourself, uh, you can give yourself what you need. And, if you don't know what the problem is or what it is you need, how can you provide the medicine to
Yeah.
the disease, or
Right.
the solution to the problem? So a lot of it is just looking deeper within yourself. When something's bothering you, focus on it. Or for me, I like to be very productive. I'm happiest when I'm productive.
Yeah.
I'm getting better
Yeah.
at being a little bit easier on myself. That's important too. But when I'm not being productive, it's because I'm tired. So I take
Right.
my advice and I go to sleep. I don't care if it's 7 o'clock at night,
Right.
I'm going to bed.
Yep. Right.
I'm going to get up tomorrow and be ready to go. But yeah, giving yourself what you need. Awareness is the way to do that.
I think also, as you said that, it made me think of this. I think another component to having self-care is creating and being disciplined about boundaries.
1,000%. Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You got to rest the gray matter, and you got to rest the soul. So yeah, so resting was the answer. All right, that's how Chip keeps it cool. Mr. Chip Baker keeps it cool and collect. And now we found out how Amy keeps it cool because she keeps busy and she rests even at 7 o'clock. That's a little early, Amy.
Yeah.
That's a
So
little
we're
early.
we're all human. I missed that. What did you say?
That's a little early though. 7 o'clock.
Oh, I know.
Jesus.
Well, sometimes I get up at 3 o'clock and I go, and my brain is, kind of done. But anyway, boundaries. Boundaries are so important. And I think, sometimes I had a child. This was one of the biggest lessons that I learned was to set boundaries because I was afraid, when we stand up for ourselves, sometimes the hardest
Mm,
thing to do is just be ourselves. And part of
yeah.
that is setting a boundary. If somebody's crossing a
Yes.
boundary, to stand up for yourself, because there can be some fear there. Okay, well, this person might go away or they might get mad. But I've learned that if somebody has a challenge with you setting your boundaries, it's because they don't know how to set theirs. And so by you setting yours, you can be an example. Have you found
Right.
that as well?
And if they have a problem, that's not your problem; it's their problem.
Yeah.
You know,
You heard
like
it first.
if you have a problem with the boundaries that I set for myself, well, bro, that's not my problem. That's yours,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to figure that out because I figured it out.
Yes.
you know.
Boom.
I wanted to circle back to one thing that we were talking about earlier that you mentioned also in your book, which is that you had some influential people in your life, your family and community that was invested in your growth, and that's such a great thing. Do you have any advice for people who feel like they don't have that positive, influential support system?
Mm, uh, that's tough because I think the environment plays a huge part.
Hmm.
Who you're around, all that stuff. So I think when you don't have that, you really have to work hard at finding that, right? Which goes back to boundaries. Set those boundaries, put
Yeah.
yourself around good people. The beauty of social media and technology now that is that you can put yourself around good people and not actually put yourself around good people, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So you can fill yourself. Oh, shameless plug, guys. Check this out. So you can check out Chip Baker, the Success Chronicles YouTube channel, and find lots of positive inspiration and motivation if
Yeah.
you don't have that in your life.
I love
Right?
that. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
good.
It's a big world out there. Technology
Yeah.
has really expanded our capacity to connect. So
Mhm.
that's awesome. Um,
Yeah, it gives us standard to educate, connect, to understand,
Yeah.
to even get to know yourself. I mean, internet is it's
Yes.
limited. If you feeling some sort of way, you can Google it and get the information, do some research. It's a phenomenon research area. It's just you get information from our shows here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry,
There's
Amy. I didn't mean to dis.
so many
Go ahead,
ways
Amy.
to invest in yourself, and that's one thing that when I was struggling years back is I would ask myself, how can I invest in myself right now? And yeah, there's a ton of great resources, books, podcasts,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
social media where you can learn and elevate your mindset. Um, I also wanted to ask you, Chip, for somebody if you have any advice, what would you want to share with somebody out there who feels like they have a greater impact to make? They're either stuck or not quite there. What advice would you share with them to help them get going on the right track or keep pushing if they're already starting to be on track?
It's pretty simple for me, and you may have heard me say this before, Amy. Go get it.
I love it.
I mean, if it's the beauty about where we are in our world, that there is no limit to what you can achieve or do and be. The only person that holds us back is ourselves.
Absolutely.
Like no one can hold you back from achieving whatever it is you want to achieve, do, be, see, go in your life. And when we really wholeheartedly believe that, right? Well, hey, watch out, because there's no limit to what you can accomplish. And so when we pour into ourselves and believe that, positive self-talk, just know that you can do great things. Like each one of us, like you, hold on, like you are a one of one.
Oh,
I love
that
that.
was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one. You heard it first on the Unleashed podcast. One of one.
Hey,
Coin that phrase. One of one.
You are a one of one. There's nobody else in the world like you. So that tells us right now that you have what you need inside of you. You don't have to go search for. You don't have to put other things in you. You're enough.
Yes.
Right. And so realize that, know that there is no limits, and go get it.
Absolutely. I love that. My favorite quote is by, as far as everything being inside of you that you need, that includes the answer to the challenge. But my favorite quote is by Carl Jung, Swiss psychiatrist. He says, that which we need most will be found where we least want to look. So so if you're struggling, look within. Mike, do you have anything for Chip that we didn't cover?
Mr. Chip Baker, it's nice seeing you again. You are Embrace the Power. You're on the Unleashed podcast. first show. We have broke the mold. We're about to break other boundaries, and so you're doing your thing. Always, we're all growing. I want to thank you again, and it was nice seeing you again. We'll get you. You'll be back on.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Chip, let us know, where can we find you? Where can we find your books? How can we listen to your show? How can we get in touch?
Yeah. Well, before I say that, I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to be on. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Mike G. And I'm truly grateful for the support, that you guys have given, throughout the years. Like, I see those things, and you don't have to do that, but I'm truly grateful for that. But my social media, I'm on everything. It's at Chip Baker, TSC, as in the Success Chronicles. All of my social media is that, except for Twitter, and Twitter is Chip Baker 19. And so, like everybody else says, like, follow, subscribe, leave your comment, all of that stuff. Yeah, that's fine. But I would ask that if you go and you see something that you like, and you think of someone that it'll help in their life, I just ask that you would just share it with them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Keep the positive inspiration spreading further, that ripple effect. Let's keep it going. Before we wrap our very first show, I did just want to give a quick shout out to Embrace the Power. Check out that podcast. Mike G has another show with Vince Bugs. If you want to hear more inspirational interviews with people who are doing great things, definitely check out Embrace the Power. And also, Mike G is available for your graphic design needs. He's responsible for all the cool stuff happening here in the background. That's definitely not me. So thank you, Mike. Thank you, Chip. It was so great to have you here. And until the next time, to go further